I titled this episode Rocky Road. I love ice cream. If I had access to only one junk food for the rest of my life, it would definitely be ice cream, hands down. But this post is actually not about ice cream. I hope I haven't lost you at this point. It's about marriage and how my religion, lack thereof, and expansion of my faith has affected it. After my year of quote-unquote zombie dating in college, following my experience with sexual assault, which is in a previous post, I got fed up and came to a place of surrender and offered up a surrender type of prayer. Went something like this: God, I'm tired of doing this my way and dating without purpose. If you want me to be single for a while or forever, I'll do it. Ultimately, it will be better than bad relationships. This is a big prayer for me and maybe for anyone who is 20. I just turned 21 years old. And I instantly felt freedom after praying this. It was a prayer of surrender. So whenever you surrender, you always feel freedom. And this was just after my trip to Kosovo, and it was the summer following my sophomore year of college. So I kid you not, after this prayer, a week later, I met the Mr. Brian Patrick Barker. Ladies and gentlemen, this guy was and is a freaking catch. If you know him, you know this to be true. There were fireworks on the night we met, literally. He says that he, quote unquote, knew the first time he met me. He purposefully pursued me, and at the time, I proceeded cautiously. I just prayed this prayer. I wanted to kind of keep a grip on my heart in case this is some kind of test from God. But not too long after this meeting, of course, I got bit by the love bug pretty damn hard. We shared so many laughs getting to know each other, and man, it was good. I was a better person with him, more purposeful. My grades improved, my mental state, etc. I mean, I look back and I see some codependent tendencies, as I still considered myself at the time just a mess, left to my own devices, feeling like I needed to be rescued. So falling into this and falling into his ways of being purposeful was a no-brainer. This guy was intentional, and man, he was going places. But most of all, his spiritual life was so pure and vibrant. That's probably what attracted me most to him. It was so unlike mine, unjaded, autonomous. I think he liked the fact that I grew up in a very Christian home. His faith brought him joy and freedom that no matter how hard he tried and how he felt he failed, Romans 7:15, God was a place of unconditional love and acceptance for him. He pushes so hard and expects near perfection from himself. So this faith has always been life-giving and a place of refuge for him. And he chose his faith when he was 16 years old. Went to church on his own. Oh, amazing. His faith flourished in college and with friends and leaders who were equally just as into it as he was, and unconventional, and had independent faith just like he did. And they cared for him and loved him. So my faith felt and looked very differently. Narrow, binding, had some goodness and love there, but man, it was overshadowed by, perhaps my own legalism and standard for myself, and never feeling like I was good enough, and just feeling like I was constantly disappointing God. And our experiences clearly could not be more opposite. So his faith was and always has been so appealing and pure and beautiful to me, and I never want him to lose it. In fact, I would love for my kids to have that kind of faith. He's a better person because of it. So our dating relationship and early years of marriage had this faith as its pillar. I mean, that was the foundation of it. So even if we were out of town and missed a Sunday at church, we listened to it online. We had a legit small group and volunteered in a youth group. I mean, we were all about it. This was no joke. But little did we know, especially he didn't know, something was weaving itself into our relationship, and it was growing. And neither of us could have guessed how much of an effect it would have on our relationship. So, as I mentioned in this previous post, I allowed and surrendered to the death of my faith as I knew it at the time. This is almost 10 years into our marriage. We've been married over 15 years. So you can imagine the hard conversations that ensued and the hurt and maybe the feelings of betrayal. But over time, it's brought us both to a new place, for sure, of being more authentic and real with each other and coming to the table with thoughts and behaviors and actions that frankly needed to be shared on both sides of the table. We both had stuff that needed to be shared. Oh, but man, it was hard arguing and just feeling hurt. But knowing that we still loved each other. So it was a hard time. And I had some verses that were haunting me at the time, like this one. Do not be equally yoked with unbelievers. And in this one, if the unbeliever or spouse leaves, let him go. The believing brother or sister is not bound in such cases, both from 1 and 2 Corinthians. Brian is nothing if not loyal. So I wasn't that worried about leaving him, or about him leaving me, but I wondered if he regretted marrying me, and it broke my heart to think that he wouldn't chase after me or pursue me if I even tried to leave. That he would feel relief if I decided to go. These are just thoughts I had in my head, and like, this is the person I married. So for many reasons, this was really hard and has left relational scars. There's a book by an author who I'm forever grateful for and helps calm my fears. The book is called In Love and in Doubt by Dale McGowan. Highly recommend it. He shared his own relationship challenges of being a non-believer, married to a believer, and documented numerous other couples with this dynamic. Some marriages made it, some didn't. But the part that gave me the most comfort was his findings at the end that this topic alone, faith, no faith, or unshared faith, will not by itself break up a marriage. Like anything else, it's each person's reaction to an issue in their marriage, how flexible and compromising and determined they are to make it work, because they, wait for it, love each other. The road has been rocky, but we find each other again and again, and we do it on purpose. The depth we have now is so much more than what it was before, and the good times are so much richer. That doesn't make it easier, but man, it makes it worth it. I love this guy, and I'm not going anywhere.